like to sit here and say, well, you know, if there was Bigfoot, right, we would have caught him by now,
Mm-hmm.
or why don't we just go out there and catch him? Okay, why don't we? Well, let's hear an example. Remember what I told you last time we were on the show? I said pandas aren't real.
Yeah, yeah.
So back in the 1700s, they weren't. They literally weren't real. It took a French naturalist that actually came and saw somebody who, and this was pandas were didn't exist. Why? Because first off, we knew of polar bears, we knew of grizzly bears.
Mm-hmm.
We knew bears can either be one of three colors: white, black, or brown,
Mm-hmm.
and they eat meat. So you're telling me there's a black and white bear that eats just fucking bamboo?
Mm-hmm.
No, there isn't. Like you're wrong. So bottom line,
Then boom.
it's right. So people are like, well, let's go try to find this panda, right? So this French naturalist came in and was like, oh my god, you know, I think it was like I can't remember the year. I think it's 1869, and he basically said, okay, these pandas are real. Let me go tell everybody. Went and told everybody. Showed them that somebody had one of these hanging up in their house, and everybody went out trying to find this panda. So here's a challenging question. I need you to give me your best guess. How long do you think it took them to find?
Panda?
Yeah. After they realized they were real, and they went out and they had an expedition, how do you think? How long do you think it took them to find them?
30 days.
30 days. That's a
Yeah.
good guess. Hey, babe, what do you think? How long?
I would say 90 days.
90 days. Okay, so 3 months. You're what?
A month.
You said a month.
Yeah.
Took them, and keep in mind this is back and this was in Sichuan, China.
Mm-hmm.
So it was basically like everybody there was like very very familiar with like the forest area a lot more than they are now, because now we're so like into technology in our own homes.
Everyone's living in cities now. They're
Right.
They're not out in the cuts anymore.
Yeah, people actually surveyed the land back then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it wasn't 1 year, it wasn't 2 years,
10 years?
60 years.
60 years to finally find a panda after
It
them
took
discovering
60
pandas.
years after they found out there was one. Well, okay,
These
so
fuckers are hiding.
oh no, bro. Here's what's crazy. This is what you really got to think about it when it comes to Bigfoot. It took them 30 years. Okay, so to be fair, it took them 30 years to where they said, oh, you know what? Let's give up. Fuck it. It's
not out there.
maybe it's extinct. So we know they were real, but they're extinct now. So like, okay, there are pandas, but they're extinct. They're like the dodo. Well, guess
Like
what?
the who?
The dodo bird.
Oh, okay.
So they're like, okay, they're extinct, so whatever. But all of a sudden, 30 years after that, Teddy Roosevelt's, sons went out, found one, shot one, killed it, brought it back. And that's whenever, actually, I'll tell you, I don't think they actually shot and killed it. I'm pretty sure they actually captured it and brought it back. And then everybody's like, oh my God, a panda's real. Like, this is crazy. And ever since then, we've had the panda craze that we have now. Everybody loves them.
But
They're so cute.
it took a president's kids to do it.
Right. It took 60 years for them to find it. And on top of that, bro, what's crazy, you got to really think, okay, so was the problem with the panda or was it with the people? It's the people. We're not made. Our skin is not made for the woods like that. We're not made for, we're wearing clothes, for God's sakes. When you stop and think about all living things on this planet, and then you see humans, bro, you know what happens if we're naked? If we don't have a house and we're naked, bro, we can't live in these harsh environments. Like we will die just from the sun beaming down on us. Like it's not.
Yeah, we can't do it. Like physically we can't survive in like harsh climates like natural animals can. That's why we adapt and get clothes and things like that. Yeah.
So who's to say, like I was saying earlier, with the Neanderthals, they've been adapted to this planet for millions of years. So they would easily just go into the tundra, or not the tundras, the deep forest areas.
They're
Easily.
fine. They got hella thick skin. They got fur. They got everything. They're good.
Right, they've been adapted to it. We're not, though. So that's why I believe we've pushed them into those areas, and that's the man. This is, if we look here.
I don't know. I'm not sure what to think about it, man. That's pretty intense.
This is a lady that claimed to have been raped by a Bigfoot.
Oh, I heard about this. There's
Right?
one lady that was raped by a fucking chimpanzee, dude. I got to show you the video. Don't worry, it's not of the raping, but it's her talking about it. She was raped by an actual chimpanzee.
Check that out.
So the story goes that the boy's mother had claimed she was kidnapped.
What the hell is that?
Which is a Chinese version of Bigfoot.
What
This
is-
creature raped her repeatedly before she was able to escape back to her small village.
Look at him. Look
That's
at that
it?
skull. That's a Neanderthal skull.
She gave birth to this strange boy who grew up to be really big. Although he was never able to speak a language, he did gain a mild understanding of what people were saying to him. He lived to be 33 years old, and because he was kept hidden in a small village, not much is known about it. So what is
What the hell?
Bro, wasn't that crazy? Like,
Wait, did this Bigfoot came back and kept raping her multiple times?
no, it was just one time.
Just one time?
But I mean, yeah, bro. Like that. Look at the.
It spawned this thing. What the fuck am I?
Of what people were saying to
I mean to swear so much, but
He lived to be 33 years old, and because he was kept hidden in a small village, not
Look
much
at that
is known
skull.
about it. So what is he
Oh,
exactly?
dude.
Interesting as hell.
Right. I'm telling you, man. Like, that's crazy. Like, I don't know. Like, is she a liar? Does she just?
I mean, it could just be a deformed kid, but at the same time, the story's adding up.
Another thing too that's interesting is when we talk about let me see real quick. So when we talk about the casting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bigfoot casting. So you can see the feet that are there. We already talked about the arches and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
One more thing just to kind of just bring up real fast is it's called Acknowledging.
Acknowledging.
It's a subset of like paleontologists. So what they do is they'll literally go, and their job is to look at Bigfoot tracks, or not Bigfoot tracks. I'm just saying like organisms that left some type of trace of themselves.
Okay.
And they have to determine if it's real or not. They've determined that typically when people get these Bigfoot castings, they've already determined that every single one of them is real.
Okay.
All of them. They're like, no, they're real. Like the amount of weight being pressed down. Even with the Patterson video, and I think everybody knows about the Patterson video with the Bigfoot, and we'll pull that up right now.
The original?
Yeah, the original. They even say, the fact that when it was stepping, it left tracks, and the tracks were literally 3 inches deep. Like,
Heavy dude.
It's a heavy,
But the
Bigfoot.
with the Patterson video, is there ever any photos or video or modern stories of him before the Patterson video? Is there any photo or video of a Bigfoot at all before that video? Because that is a big point.
There's lots of stories, and one more thing too that's interesting is the same year as the Patterson video, and this is the last thing I'll talk about before I get into the videos, is this right here is the Minnesota Wild Man. Let me show you real quick. Or the Minnesota Iceman. So check that one out.
That's interesting.
So I believe this is real.
It just looks like a monkey.
What the guy basically did was he saw this thing out in the middle of the road. He got a shotgun out. It wasn't a shotgun, actually. It's one of those like elephant guns or whatever. Shot a hole right through its chest and everything, and just boom, shot out part of its arm. And that's basically all you see now. And then he ended up, getting it stuffed afterwards. And then after he did that,
He got it stuffed. Is it like? It looks like it's frozen over there on the left.
well, yeah. So basically, what he did was he got it fixed up as much as he could. It was still bleeding out. So he hurried up and bought instead of like taking this to science and just shutting everybody up.
Yeah.
This world's full of greed. And he basically was like, hey, I'm gonna make money off this.
Yeah.
Went, put it in bought a 7-foot, refrigerator basement type thing and
Case
it, and then he basically filled it up with water and froze it. And there you go. That's the Minnesota Iceman. And what's crazy about that is when you hear reports of people that have seen this, there's people today that have seen this. They're like, they all saw it. People saw it. He took it to county fairs. He took it to.
What'd they all say about it?
They said it looked real. Like it looked real. Like it was the real thing.
Either he took a long ass time in making something fake, or it's a real deal.
They actually took it to. There was, gosh, man, I can't remember his name.
Is it still frozen while they're looking at it today? Is it still frozen today?
See, that's what I don't know where it's at today. Like I haven't done enough research to find out exactly where it's at. I hopefully want to find out so I can go look at it. But what people were saying is they said you could tell it's real for a lot of reasons. One of the reasons was I can't remember one of the main people that the people that do the House of Wax in Las Vegas and stuff like that. They were talking about they saw the same thing and they thought it was fake, but they said they thought it was real for one reason only. When you're looking at it in through the ice casing, you can see the hairs that are floating. And if it's one thing that's hard to do when it comes to that, is it's hard to do hair. Because when you poke through that wax, through the skin, you'll see the mark. You can't you know what I mean, you'll see that it has an exit point. Like you can't escape that no matter what.
Okay, it's just gonna make an indent. Yeah.
Right. There was none of that when you look at this. Also, after you're done killing something, I don't know if you've noticed, especially when you go kill deer or anything else out there, wherever the wound is, wherever you shot it, or wherever it's punctured, you can see little like pink ooze coming out of it still for a while. I know that with deer. But what's crazy is that when it was being frozen, you could still, like, when it's
It was
in that
still
casing,
oozing a little bit.
you could see the ooze come up like ripples, like a ribbon ripples. Like it was, bro, that it was really, you could tell it was authentic for that reason only. I mean, why you would, I mean, obviously for financial gain, why you would do it, but I'm sorry, man. I think that's one good case of it actually being put out, but he didn't take it to science like he should have, and we're still having this argument today.
It looks like he moved him around twice, because those two pictures are different. Like you can see his hand, both his hands are a little different in each picture.
Right.
So wonder why that's the case. Did he move him and took another picture,
or maybe one was drawn? Who knows?
It looks like maybe one of them was drawn.
Look, the left one looks like it's drawn. But
the far. You mean the far left one with the color?
Middle one actually.
Oh, the middle one. The middle one looks drawn. Yeah. There you go. That looks better.
You can see what I mean, and then that's the ice casing of it right there. Yeah. That's a better picture of him.